Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much. Have you ever noticed how quickly people disappear the moment you're no longer useful to them? Why do the ones you love the most sometimes become the first to forget your sacrifices? And what happens when you finally realize that family isn't always defined by blood, but by loyalty? Let me tell you something. Life has a way of pulling back the curtain on people's true intentions. In old age, that's when the masks fall off completely. When you're young, full of energy, always on the move, always giving, people smile, they praise you, they act like they love you. But the moment your strength fades, when you begin to need them more than they need you, something changes. That's when you start to see who truly cared and who is just around for the benefits. There comes a moment in life where you can no longer afford to be surrounded by the ungrateful, even if they share your blood. Ungrateful people are never satisfied, no matter what you've done for them. How much you've given, how deeply you've sacrificed, it's never enough. You raised them. You gave them your best years. You were there through every storm. And still, they act like it meant nothing. They walk into your home without thanks. They only call when they need something. They speak to you with impatience, as if your presence is a burden. My friend, don't be fooled. This is not love. Love is not just about shared DNA. Love is shown in honor, in respect, in gratitude. Many of you watching this have poured your soul into your children, your families, your friends. You gave even when you barely had enough. You forgave when they didn't deserve it. You chose their needs over your dreams. And now you sit in silence while the ones you raised can't even return your calls. You ask for help and they act as if you're in the way. But hear me today. Your value is not based on their recognition. Your worth doesn't decrease just because they fail to see it. Ungrateful people have a dangerous habit. They rewrite history. They forget the nights you stayed awake worrying about them, the double shifts you worked just to keep things together, the countless times you put them first. Instead, they fixate on what you didn't do, while conveniently forgetting all that you did. And if you're not careful, you'll spend the most important season of your life trying to prove your worth to people who have already chosen to ignore it. Let me warn you, entitled people will drain you dry. They will twist your kindness, demand more, and use your love as leverage. They'll make you feel guilty for not giving more, even when they've given nothing in return. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your heart in this season of your life. If someone can't appreciate your presence, let them experience your absence. There comes a point where you must stop begging others to value you. If they couldn't respect you when you were strong, don't expect them to show up when you are weak. Some of you are grieving relationships that God has already tried to remove from your life. You're shedding tears over people who don't care that you're hurting. You're clinging to relatives who let go of you in their hearts long ago. It's time to wake up. It's time to protect your peace like the treasure it is. Don't waste energy on those who lack gratitude. Don't chase after people who are comfortable leaving you behind. Love should never have to be begged for. Respect should never have to be demanded. And remember this, family is more than blood. Family is who loves you, who respects you, who shows up when it matters. Blood may make you related, but loyalty is what makes someone truly family. And when you begin to release the ungrateful, the entitled, the users and takers from your life, something incredible begins to happen. Now let's talk about what that thing is. Continue with me. And when you finally begin releasing the ungrateful and the entitled, you start to feel something powerful, lighter, as if a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying has been lifted. You find joy again in the little things. A quiet morning, a warm cup of tea, the sound of birds outside your window. You start realizing that peace is far more valuable than proximity. Because sometimes it's not love you're missing. It's freedom from the people draining your soul. We often think we can't live without certain people. We think we need them because of the history, the blood ties, or the years we've invested. But the truth is, what you really need is release. Release from the heaviness they bring into your life. That invisible weight they lay on your chest every time they walk in a room, call your phone, or take from you without ever giving back. So let go. Let go of the ungrateful. Let go of the ones who only notice you when they need something. Let go of the ones who make you doubt your value, who treat your presence like a burden, your love like an obligation. You've done enough. You've given enough. You've carried more than your share. Now it's time. Time to surround yourself with people who see you, not just what you can do, but who you are. People who celebrate you, who lift your spirit, who cherish your heart. There comes a point in life when your peace must become your most sacred possession, more precious than pleasing others, more essential than being understood. Because let's be honest, you don't have the energy to fight battles that aren't yours. You don't have the time to wrestle with drama that drains your soul. And yet, some people wake up every single day looking for a reason to be upset. They carry storms inside them, and they want to pull you into their chaos. Have you ever noticed how just one bitter conversation can shift your whole mood? You are having a peaceful day, grateful, calm, present. And then someone walks in with their baggage, and suddenly, you're carrying it too. They remind you of every hurt, dig up every wound, and drag you back into the pain you've worked so hard to leave behind. If you're not careful, you'll start carrying burdens that were never yours to begin with. You see, some people refuse to heal because they've built their identity around their pain. Anger is their fuel. Bitterness is their comfort zone. Victimhood is their narrative. And when they see you at peace, healing, growing, they resent it. Because your peace exposes their unrest. And if they can't be happy, they don't want you to be either. That's why you must be careful. Careful who you let into your ears. Careful who you let speak into your life. Some people don't offer advice. They offer poison. They don't help you heal. They reopen wounds. They don't guide you forward. They anchor you to the past. They won't show you how to fix what's broken. They'll only keep reminding you that it's broken. You don't have time for that. Not anymore. In this season of your life, you need people who speak life. People who build you up, who encourage your growth, who bring light to your dark days. Not those who drag you down, drain your strength, or steal your joy. Because negativity, it's sneaky. It'll make you suspicious of people who mean you well. It'll create enemies where there are none. It'll convince you to hold grudges you should have let go of long ago and carry pain that should have been healed. And if you allow it, it will rob you of your peace, your progress, and your purpose. Back-end index pointing right. So how do you protect your energy from those who live in bitterness? Let's go. When you allow negativity to sit too long in your spirit, it begins to poison everything around you. And as we touched on before, if you're not careful, someone else's bitterness will become your burden. Negativity doesn't just steal your smile. It robs you of joy. It robs you of rest. It keeps you lying awake at night, replaying conversations that should have ended years ago, holding on to pain that should have been released a lifetime ago. There are people walking around today still angry about something that happened decades ago, still blaming others for a life they chose to stay stuck in. They don't want healing. They want sympathy. They don't seek change. They just want someone to listen to their complaints. And if you're not intentional, they'll pull you into their cycle. Little by little, you become just like them. You start complaining. You start carrying offenses that don't even belong to you. That's why you have to draw a line. You have to decide that your peace is more important than their approval. That your mental and emotional health are more valuable than the comfort of keeping someone who brings chaos. There are conversations you must walk away from. Words that only reopen old wounds, stir up division, and drag you back into a pain you've worked hard to heal from. You don't have the time or energy to invest in anger that leads nowhere, in conflicts that solve nothing, or bitterness that only hurts you in the end. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are people in your life who only call when they want to gossip, complain, or dig up old drama. And maybe you've tolerated it for so long, you don't even notice how heavy it's made you feel. But take a moment and ask yourself, why am I always drained after talking to them? It's because you're carrying their weight, their anger, their offenses, their unresolved pain. That heaviness wasn't yours to begin with. So let it go. Let them go. Release the bitterness. Let go of the resentment. You don't have to engage in every argument. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Protect your peace. Guard your joy. Surround yourself with people who speak life, who remind you of what's good, what's possible, what's worth hoping for. This is your time to live free, to wake up without the burden of drama and disappointment, to open your eyes in the morning and feel light, grateful, joyful, present. Don't waste another moment letting someone else's storm cloud darken your sky, because peace is too rare and joy is too sacred to let anyone steal it. But peace isn't just stolen, it's also targeted. And in the next section, we'll talk about a specific kind of person you must be extra careful with, the ones who smile at you while hiding another agenda. Let's go. We just talked about how peace is too rare to let anyone steal it. And now, we need to talk about the people most skilled at doing just that. They don't always come with insults or drama. In fact, they often show up with smiles. They say the right things. They know exactly how to charm you, how to flatter you, how to make you feel needed. But behind that charm is something much darker. Their motives aren't rooted in love. They're rooted in self-interest. These are the manipulators, the takers, the ones who don't see you as a person. They see you as a resource. And most painful part, they're not always strangers. Sometimes they're friends. Sometimes they're family. Sometimes they're the very people you've helped the most. People you've shown up for time and time again, who now see your kindness as a tool to be used, not treasured. Manipulation isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up with demands or ultimatums. No, the most skilled manipulators are quiet about it. Subtle, strategic. They make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They twist your compassion against you. Suddenly, saying no feels selfish, even when you're drowning. They remind you of all you've done for them, but not out of gratitude. No, they remind you to keep the door open. Because if you forget what you've done, they lose control. They will cry. They will get angry. Or worse, they'll go silent. All to make you question yourself. All to make you feel like you're responsible for their problems, their failures, their unhappiness. But hear this clearly. You are not responsible for carrying someone else's selfishness on your back. Some of you have spent years being emotionally and mentally drained by people who only know how to reach out when they need something. They don't check in on you. They don't ask how you're doing. They don't call to hear your voice or enjoy your company. The only time your phone rings is when they need a favor, a ride, a bailout, or a shoulder to lean on after they've created another mess. And because you have a big heart, because you're dependable, they expect you to say yes every single time. But let me ask you something. Who is there for you? Who calls just to say, I love you? I appreciate you. I'm here for you. If you can't name many or any, then maybe it's time to take a closer look at your circle. In the next part, we'll talk about what it means to choose yourself, even when it means walking away from people who never really chose you. Let's continue. We just asked the hard question, who's really there for you? Now it's time to look even deeper into the kind of people you've been allowing into your life. Ask yourself this, are you surrounded by givers or just takers? The truth is, people who manipulate you aren't interested in your well-being. They're not losing sleep over how you're feeling, how your health is holding up, or whether you're emotionally drained. They're only interested in what you can do for them, what they can gain. They might say they love you. They might act concerned. But pay attention. The moment you stop giving, the moment you no longer serve their needs, watch how fast their affection disappears. Sometimes, that's the greatest gift of all, because it sets you free. It shows you, with painful clarity, who is truly for you and who is only there for what they can take from you. This season of your life calls for sacred boundaries. You must stop pouring into people who never pour anything back into you. Stop answering the phone when you already know the conversation will leave you feeling empty. Stop rushing to help people who wouldn't lift a single finger if the roles were reversed. You cannot keep setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. You cannot keep giving from a cup that is already empty. And yes, when you begin to say no, some people will not like it. When you stop allowing yourself to be used, some will call you selfish. But hear me clearly. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. You are not wrong for expecting to receive the same kindness and respect that you freely give. You are not cruel for refusing to be manipulated. The only people who get upset when you set healthy boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. So be cautious of those who only appear when they need something. Be mindful of the ones who confuse love with transactions, who only love you when you're useful. Because if someone cannot value you when you have nothing left to give, then they never truly valued you to begin with. This is the time to fill your life with people who care for you, not just what you provide. People who check in because they love you, not because they need a favor. People who make you feel appreciated, not obligated. You deserve that. You deserve peace. You deserve to step into the years ahead without the weight of those who treat your kindness like a commodity. Let them go. Let the ones who only take walk away. Let the ones who manipulate with guilt find someone else to control. Let the ones who were never truly for you finally be removed from your life. You're not losing them. They are losing you. And now, let's talk about another group that can poison your peace. Those who simply cannot celebrate your joy. The envious, the jealous, the ones who secretly hope you fail. Let's continue. We just spoke about those who only loved you when you were useful. But now let's turn to something even more subtle, jealousy. A silent poison, a slow leak that drains joy without making a sound. Jealousy is a dangerous thing. It doesn't always show up wearing a scowl. No, sometimes it hides behind forced smiles and hollow congratulations. It wears the mask of a friend, disguising itself as sarcasm or playful jabs that leave you second-guessing yourself. You share something good, news that made your heart light up, and what do you get back? A muttered, "Must be nice," or "Some people have all the luck." On the surface, it may seem harmless, but over time, the pattern becomes clear. They don't really want to see you win. And here's the heartbreaking truth. People like that were never truly for you. They may have stood by you when you were struggling. They may have comforted you when you had nothing. But the moment your life started to bloom, something changed. The moment doors began to open and you started to rise, they began to shrink away. The calls became less frequent. The support turned to silence. And in the worst cases, their silence turned to sabotage. Whispers behind your back, passive comments meant to steal your confidence. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You felt that sting. You've been met with cold distance instead of warm celebration. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to realize that someone you loved, someone you trusted, someone you expected to cheer you on, is quietly hoping you'll fall. But listen closely. Your blessings are not up for debate. You don't have to shrink to fit their comfort zone. You don't need to minimize your success to protect their insecurities. What God has given you is yours. No one's bitterness, no one's envy, no one's resentment can undo what's been divinely assigned to your life. You do not need their approval to be blessed. You do not need their applause to be confident. Jealousy has a way of turning friends into rivals and family into strangers. It blinds people. It poisons their spirit until they would rather see you fail than deal with their own frustration. And the saddest part? They could have been blessed too. But instead of focusing on their own path, they've become obsessed with yours. So what do? You step back. You stop chasing validation from those who secretly hope you fall. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop dimming your light to comfort people who refuse to grow. And when they say, "You've changed," say, "Yes, I have, and I won't apologize for it." Because growth will always feel like betrayal to those who chose to stay stagnant. You're not selfish for protecting your joy. You're not wrong for celebrating your wins. And you're not cruel for leaving behind the ones who only clapped when you were behind them. So be wise, be watchful, be careful of the ones who always felt close until you started rising. Now, let's talk about another kind of danger. The ones who carry pain like an identity, who thrive on conflict, and who refuse to heal. Shall we continue? Previously, we talked about jealousy hiding behind false smiles. Now let's take it one step further. What about the people who constantly bring chaos into your life and call it love? Let me be clear. If someone only shows up to dim your light, to disturb your peace, or to make your blessings feel like burdens, that is not love. That is not friendship. That is envy. And you don't need that kind of energy anywhere near your life. Let them talk. Let them feel uncomfortable. Let them wonder how you're still standing. But whatever you do, don't stop moving forward. You've come too far, prayed too long, and overcome too many battles to let someone else's insecurity block your breakthrough. Keep walking in favor. Keep rising. Keep becoming everything God called you to be. Because here's what happens. The right people will clap for you, and the wrong ones will quietly remove themselves. Let them. But now, let's shift our focus to another kind of burden. The people who live in chaos and carry their storm into every room they enter. You know the type. Every time they show up, there's drama. There's a crisis. There's a mess that only you seem to be responsible for cleaning up. And for years, maybe decades, you've been the one answering late-night phone calls, giving money you didn't really have, offering advice they never take, trying to pull them out of the fire they lit themselves. And yet, nothing changes. It's always something, always chaos, always confusion. Here's the hard truth. Some people don't actually want solutions. They want sympathy. They don't want to change. They want attention. They don't want to be free. They've built their entire identity around their struggle. And as long as you keep playing the rescuer, they will keep playing the victim. They will keep setting fires, and you'll keep running with buckets of water until one day you realize your own house is burning down. You see, while you've been pouring all your energy into saving them, your own peace has slowly disappeared. You're losing sleep over problems that were never yours. You're carrying stress, weight, and pain that you didn't create. And worst of all, they're not even trying to change. That is not your burden to bear. You can love them. You can pray for them. But you cannot force someone to want healing. You cannot carry a person who refuses to walk. At some point, you must step back. You must protect your peace. You must recognize that their cycle of chaos is not yours to live in. And yes, when you begin to pull away, they'll try to guilt you. They'll remind you of all you've done. They'll say you're selfish, cold, uncaring. But listen to me. You are not wrong for choosing peace. You are not heartless for protecting your energy. You're not a bad person for refusing to be dragged down by someone else's dysfunction. Some of you have spent years sacrificing your mental and emotional well-being for people who have zero interest in changing their own lives. But what happens when you finally break free from the chaos? Let's explore that in the next part. After everything you've carried for others, there comes a sacred turning point. The moment when you realize you've been living in storms that weren't even yours. For far too long, you've allowed their chaos to invade your peace. You've let their stress, their poor decisions, their constant drama spill over into your life like a flood that never stops. It's drained you. It's dimmed your light. It's made you forget what peace even feels like. But there comes a time, and that time is now, when you must draw a line in the sand and say, enough. Enough carrying what's not yours. Enough sacrificing your joy to rescue people who don't want to be rescued. Enough allowing dysfunction to define your days. You must make a bold choice. Peace over chaos. Wisdom over foolishness. freedom over dysfunction. Because peace, true, lasting peace, is priceless. There is nothing in this world more valuable than waking up without anxiety sitting on your chest, without chaos knocking at your door, without the emotional exhaustion of fixing what someone else continues to break. You deserve to breathe. You deserve to smile again without guilt. You deserve a life where you are no longer held hostage by someone else's unwillingness to grow. And if protecting that peace means letting go, then let go. If it means saying no, say it without hesitation. If it means creating distance, do it without guilt. Because your joy is not disposable. Your energy is not unlimited. And your life is far too precious to waste on people who have no intention of taking responsibility for their own. Let them go. Let them face the outcomes of their choices. Let them grow or not. But as for you, you walk forward. You live in peace. You embrace the wholeness and freedom that comes when you finally release the burdens that were never meant to be yours. And don't be surprised, because once you start walking lighter, you'll hear new voices around you. But not all of them are there to uplift. Next, let's talk about the people whose words seem sweet, but whose intentions quietly sabotage your spirit. You see, after you finally started reclaiming your peace, there's still one silent enemy that lingers: the voices. Not just the ones around you, but the ones that echo in your mind long after they've been spoken. These voices don't shout, they whisper. They remind you of your past mistakes. They pick at your flaws. They quietly suggest that maybe, just maybe, you're not enough. And if you listen to them long enough, you begin to believe them. You start questioning your worth. You start doubting your ability. You begin to see yourself not through truth, but through the lens of someone else's pain, bitterness, or insecurity. Words have power, and the wrong words, when planted deep enough, can become weeds that choke the life out of your confidence. Some of you are still carrying words that were spoken to you years ago, in a moment of anger, or from a heart full of jealousy. Maybe it was a parent who told you you'd never amount to anything, a friend who laughed at your dreams, a relative who criticized everything you did, no matter how hard you tried. And even though the years have passed, their words still echo. They follow you into new seasons. They hold you back when you try to grow. They shape the way you look at your reflection in the mirror. But hear me clearly. The only words that define you are the ones God has spoken over you. You are not a failure. You are not a mistake. You are not who they said you were. You are worthy. You are capable. You are chosen. And you are under no obligation to keep entertaining voices that do nothing but drain you. Some of you have allowed toxic voices to stay too close for too long. You've given them power over your decisions, your confidence, your direction. But not everyone deserves that kind of access. Not everyone should have a front row seat in your life. If their words don't lift you, if all they bring is doubt, discouragement, and defeat, it's time to shut that door. Because when you keep listening to the wrong voices, your life starts shrinking. You hesitate. You play small. You talk yourself out of dreams God placed inside of you. How many callings have been abandoned? How many dreams delayed? How many blessings missed? All because someone said you weren't enough. You know what's next? It's time to take your voice back, and I'll show you how. After everything we've unpacked, here's the bottom line. You can no longer allow the wrong voices to rule your life. You cannot continue giving power to words that were meant to tear you down. You cannot let the weight of other people's opinions outweigh the truth of who you really are. At this point in your journey, it's time, long past time, to be intentional about the voices you allow into your space. You must begin surrounding yourself with people who build you up, not tear you apart. People who speak life into your heart. People who remind you, not just once, but again and again, that you are strong, capable, chosen, and deeply loved, even on the days you don't feel it yourself. And listen carefully. Cutting off toxic voices does not mean you're bitter. It doesn't mean you're angry. It doesn't mean you're holding a grudge. It simply means you've grown wise enough to protect your peace. It means you love yourself enough to guard your mind from words that only bring harm. It means you've chosen to listen to God's truth, not people's opinions. Some of you have been carrying old words, old wounds, and old doubts that were never yours to hold in the first place. It's time to drop that weight. Let go of what they called you. Let go of what they said you'd never become. Let go of the labels they tried to stick to your name. Because you are not what they called you. You're not their insults. You're not their doubts. You are exactly who God says you are. And if stepping into that truth means walking away from toxic relationships, do it. If it means creating healthy boundaries, set them without hesitation. If it means distancing yourself from anyone who refuses to speak love, faith, or encouragement into your life, walk away in peace. Because your spirit is too valuable to be poisoned by someone else's bitterness. Your destiny is too great to be delayed by small-minded words. You have a life to live, a mission to fulfill, a future to step into. So don't let their voices hold you back. Don't let their opinions define your path. Don't let their negativity rob you of joy that was never theirs to take. Instead, tune them out. Turn your ear to the voice of truth, and you'll find peace. You'll find strength. You will step boldly into everything God has been preparing for you. Because the truth is, life is too short to carry the weight of the wrong people. As you grow older, your peace, your joy, and your well-being must become non-negotiable priorities. There is no shame in protecting your heart, no shame in guarding your mind, and absolutely no shame in walking away from anything or anyone that drains your soul. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever, and that's okay. Some relationships must be released so you can step fully into what's waiting for you. Let go of those who bring chaos. Let go of those who manipulate, belittle, and refuse to grow. Let go of those who continue to speak darkness over your life. Surround yourself instead with love, wisdom, and light. Choose peace over pressure, freedom over guilt, healing over heaviness. Walk confidently in the truth that God's purpose for you is bigger than anyone's opinion. Protect your soul, guard your heart, and step into the future that's already been written for you, with joy, with strength, and with grace. Wishing you peace, health, and happiness always. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if this message blessed you. There's so much more ahead.